So we have got a Patreon. The link is in the description. Go check it out. If there are any shows, movies, or funnily enough, I've never watched an anime in my life that you guys want me to react to and watch, the cut version will be put up on YouTube and the uncut version will be put up on my Patreon. So the link will be in the description. Thank you so much for all the support recently. We will be reacting to The Hobbit for the first time ever. Like I said, the cut version will be put up on YouTube. As much as I can put up on YouTube, I will. The uncut, full version will be on my Patreon. Link is in the description. Thank you so much for all your support. Peace out, God bless, and let's get into the video. Yo, welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a great day. Today, it's finally here. The Valar of Middle-earth. I have been waiting for this one. I don't know why it's taken so long. I have had so many videos. As you can see, my list is pretty insane. But it's finally here. It was between the Valar and, I hope I'm not saying this incorrectly, the Maiar. But right now we're going to do the Valar. Let me know in the future if you want to see the Maiar of Middle-earth. And let's get into this. Subscribe. Check the links in the description for more ways of supporting me, like my Patreon and tipping the channel towards getting better microphones and cameras and stuff like that. But other than that, let's get into the video.
The great among these spirits the elves name the Valar, the powers of Arda, and men have often called them gods. The lords of the Valar are 7, and the Valir, the queens of the Valar, are 7 also. Well met, friends. Yoiston here with another Beings of Middle-earth video for you all today.
Okay.
This time we will be discussing the Valar, or gods of Tolkien's works. As their individual histories are very long and descriptive, I won't go into a great amount of detail about each of them. Rather, I will talk about their greatest deeds during their time. Let's begin. Our first mention...
Wait. Just from okay?
Valar are 7 also.
I'm going to talk about who's my favourite. Just from okay?
Well met, friends. Yoiston here with another Beings of Middle-earth video for you all today. This time we will be discussing the Valar, or gods.
This guy's name's similar to mine. This guy looks like a Chad, I'm not gonna lie. This guy's just basically 4.
Gods of Tolkien's work.
I'm going with Tulkas. God, I hope it's a goodie.
As their individual histories are very long and descriptive, I won't go into a great amount of detail about each of them. Rather, I will talk about their greatest deeds during their time.
Actually, I don't know. There's something about this guy that just screams good person. Don't know. Just seems like a really nice guy. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's his facial features that just. Yeah. You know what? I have a good hunch. I trust my intuition. I think this guy's going to be a good guy.
Begin. Our first mention is actually no longer accounted as one of the 14 Valar after his betrayals. The greatest of the Ainur, the group who sang the world into existence, and most powerful of the Valar is named Melkor. This Lord of the Valar, who is most knowledgeable, is later named Morgoth, meaning Black Enemy, for his crimes against the elves of the Noldor. This is the first Dark Lord of Tolkien's story, who sought to dominate all lands and creatures he could, as he was a very jealous being who wanted to create his own minions. Alongside Manwë, Ulmo, and Aule, Melkor was one of the first beings to step foot on the earth. From Autumno and Angband, Melkor would rule, and bring his conquests to the other Valar and free peoples of Middle-earth. He brought ruin to the first and second light sources of the world, the lamps of the Valar and the 2 trees of Valinor. Even after this, Melkor committed the first murder in the lands of Aman, and stole the 3 Silmarils that held the light of the 2 trees, resulting in the War of the Jewels, and eventually the War of Wrath at the end of the First Age of the
Evil
world.
bastard.
At the end of the War of Wrath, Melkor was cast beyond the walls of night, into the timeless void beyond the world where he resides still. I will definitely talk about this character again in his own epic character history. Moving on now to Melkor's brother, Manwë, or Sulimo, was the leader of the Ainur, king of the Valar, and greatest servant of Eru Iluvatar, the god of all. He lived atop Mount Taniquetil in Aman with his wife Varda, and ruled the Valar from there.
Oh,
In the world of Arda, Manwë was the lord of the winds and airs that had helped him build the world with Aule and Ulmo, and he best understood Iluvatar's will. Thus he was completely free of evil, and he couldn't comprehend it.
oh yeah,
After the
yeah.
elves awoke, Manwë invited them to live with the Valar in Valinor. However, his mercy allowed Melkor to be freed of his first imprisonment, which would eventually lead to much hardship. After learning about elves killing elves in the first kinslaying, Manwë banished the elves from Valinor, but he remembered them still for their goodness, and had Aule the smith fashion the vessels of the sun and moon for the elves and the men that were to come. During the First Age, Manwë sent his messengers to watch over the Eldar. These were called the Great Eagles, and they served Thorondor, chief lieutenant of Manwë. Once the War of Wrath was through, Manwë banished his brother Melkor beyond the world, so that some measure of peace may be known to Iluvatar's children. Manwë still rules in Aman. Manwë's wife, Varda, or Elbereth as she was known, was the queen of the Valar, and Lady of the Stars. She was the most beautiful of the Valar, as
bet she
Iluvatar's
was.
light shined in her face, and she had created the stars and constellations. The elves revered her most out of all of the Valar, as the first sight that they had seen in life after their awakening were her stars. She filled the lamps of the Valar with light, collected the resin of the two trees in her wells, hollowed the Silmarils, gave the sun and the moon their courses, and established Eorendil's star. She was also the first to distrust Melkor, and she was his first enemy, and one of the two Valar he feared most. Ulmo is next. As the Lord of the Seas, Rivers, and all waters in Arda,
This guy's
Ulmo
cool.
helped fashion the world, but he had no home or wife in Valinor.
The sea was his wife, and the ocean was his mistress. Damn, that was beautiful. Damn, I didn't know I had that in me.
Rather, he lived in a place called Ulmonon, beneath
Wait,
the
he was
sea.
cheating?
Alongside Varda, Melkor feared Ulmo the most, as the sea could not be tamed. Ulmo most directly opposed Melkor out of all of the Valar as well, and interacted most with the Free Peoples.
I think Ulmo's
Ulmo
my
was
favorite.
responsible for urging Turgon to build Gondolin, and for sending Tur to Gondolin, and for saving Elwing so that a Silmaril might come to Valinor. Next
Oh.
is Aule the Smith, or Mahal as he would be called by the dwarves. Aule was the lord of the earth's natural substances, and in the beginning he
It's like looking in the
fashioned
mirror.
look of the world. His greatest creations are the vessels of the sun and moon, the lamps of the Valar, the chain Engainor that held Melkor, and most of all, he is renowned for the creation of the dwarves. He had grown impatient
Oh.
for the children of Iluvatar, so he created the dwarves. However, Aule the Smith thought he committed a crime against Iluvatar, so as he prepared to destroy his creation in the dwarves, Iluvatar stopped him. After the creation of the seven dwarven fathers, Aule had taught them Khazd-dûl and smithwork. Now Iluvatar gave them life, and they were put to sleep in different spots in Middle-earth.
That's so
until
cool.
after the awakening of the elves. Aule's wife is Yavanna, the giver of fruits. She was responsible for all growing things in nature and lived in pastures. She knew that the world would need trees, and the trees would need guardians. So Yavanna pleaded with Manwë, and Manwë prayed to Iluvatar, and Iluvatar created the Ents, or tree herders. It was her music with Niana's tears that created the two trees of Valinor, and if Feanor had given her the light, she could have remade them after their destruction.
Feanor!
She also created the tree of Galathilion in Tirion, whose descendants would be the white trees of Gondor.